that will allow them to be heard. Or not
that's
heard.
true.
Mm-hmm.
That's the heart of the matter, and that's why I have to leave. I love this conversation. It's so vital.
What do you want to say to our audience, our national audience? You got people from 45 different cities, every state, 13 nations listening. What do you want to tell people that you want them to do right now to make sure? Because this battle's coming to every state, right? It's coming everywhere.
Yeah, it's already everywhere. I mean.
Right.
Rachel Maddow was on MSNBC last night saying, everybody's talking about whether the crisis is coming or whether, the threat is there or something like that. And she says, it's here. It's now.
Right.
And so here's what I will say to folks. I have, throughout my adult life, taken the counsel of Barbara Arnwine as the wisest, most serious advocate for voting rights that I know. Now, there are other people, many other people who she's worked with and who she would offer great respect to. She never claims the credit for herself. But I will tell you that Barbara and Derek are the people that I look to for counsel on, where this struggle is going, where the dangers are, where the threats are. So I will step away. When you ask me what I would suggest to people they ought to do, what I'd suggest that people ought to do is listen to what Barbara and Derek are saying, because it is so very, very important. And also, let us celebrate Ron, because I have known Ron from afar. I wish we could be going out having coffee once a week in person, because I know it would be so much deeper and better. We are radio friends. We are radio colleagues. And that's a weird thing in its own way. But the fact of the matter is, I have respected this man for a very long time because, from the very first I heard him, I knew here is a genuine leader. Here is someone who could or should, and I know it's hard to imagine in the Texas of today, but could or should be a governor or a senator at some point. So I listened to him with immense regard. And I'll just close off with a reminder, because you say, oh, well, talking governor, senator, things like that. Ron, you remember that who did one of the first great quorum breaks in history? It was an Illinois legislator, and his name was, let me think for a second, Oh, yeah, Abraham Lincoln.
Lincoln
famously did a quorum break, just like Ron is doing. And I know Ron is a more modest man. He would never put himself in such company, I'm sure. But
never. Thank you, John. I wouldn't. But thank you.
But I will tell you, those who show courage in the early stages of their career and do exactly what Ron is doing, those are the people, as a political writer, I keep an eye on. Because at the end of the day, these are the people whose courage is ultimately recognized and their vision actually is rewarded. It takes time. It's not easy. But we sure saw it. We've seen it with others. With John Lewis, of course, who we've spoken about, the courage he showed as a young man, the vision that he was able to bring to Congress. Shirley Chisholm, so many others. We could run down the list. But I just close off by saying that Ron is my radio friend and somebody I know to be good-humored and easygoing and all the things that you might like. But he right now is doing something historic, and what he is doing and what his colleagues are doing really will decide the direction of this country. And I'm so confident they're going to succeed. I genuinely believe that we're going to beat what's going on in Texas. And I genuinely believe that we're going to come out of this with a strength and a resolve to go into those 2026 elections with a transformative vision that actually will succeed in getting our country back. So what an honor to be with you folks today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, John. John, how do people get in touch with you? Because somebody's there saying, "Oh, I got to know more about him. I want to follow him on social media." How do they do that, sir?
They can get me at they can just get me at thenation.com. Just go to thenation.com. I'm writing about this today. The lead story on the website is about what's going on in Texas.
Oh, I can't wait to read it, and let's get together and write some more. Thank you for all that you do. You are amazing. We appreciate you being on the show. You got to come back. Thank you so much.
Can't wait, and be strong.
That's our assignment. We got that. All right, thank you.
I know you will. Take care.
All right. Take care. We now want to go. We've been talking about Texas, right, folks? We talked a little bit about Illinois. But now we want to, Ron, help us. We're going to shift over to Florida.
Okay.
Because what's going on in Florida also is affecting the entire nation. In fact, Ron, you know from being in Texas, that Texas is trying to build the largest ICE immigrant detention center, these concentration camps, in the nation. But in Florida, they've come up with one of the most evil schemes. I mean, these people are outright evil schemes to really hurt people who. Many who have been unjustly arrested and put into these camps called Alligator Alcatraz. Alligator Alcatraz. They think this is a big joke, the name they come up with, and something that they built in 8 weeks. Folks, you know, this is so wrong. But we are happy that we've also been joined by representative from Senator Shervin Jones's office of Florida, the representative of District 34 in Florida, and of course, Senator Jones has been all over this, and we're so glad that his office has joined us today. Welcome. I believe Kai Doral is on. Is that correct?
Yes, this is Kai. Good morning, or good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you, Kai, for joining us. And you're on the show. You heard the mighty author John Nichols from The Nation, one of the journalists earlier, and he's had to depart. But we also still have with us one of the most powerful representatives in the country at the state governmental level, that is Ron Reynolds, who is also the chair of the Black Caucus of Texas. So we are, talking now. We want to just change direction for a minute and talk about what's going on with this ICE detention camp. Tell us, Kai, what is happening? I mean, people hear Alligator Alcatraz and they go, what in the world is that? It sounds like something, surreal. It sounds like something out of a comic book. But it's not funny. It's really disastrous. Tell people what's going on.
Yeah, of course, and to your point, it really is disastrous what's going on at Alligator Alcatraz. Senator Jones and a couple of his colleagues in the Senate and the House as well tried to do a visit. As they've made it known, this is not a facility ran by the federal government. Alligator Alcatraz is being ran by the Division of Emergency Management here in the state of Florida, and per our state. Exactly. And per our state statute, state legislatures have the ability to enter any state detention facility. Now, when Senator Jones and a couple of his colleagues went to show up unannounced, they were turned around. It created a larger conversation, and at a later date, the Division of Emergency Management hosted a tour for all state and congressional members of Florida to do a tour But in the words of Senator Jones, it was a sanitized tour. They weren't given the ability to speak with detainees and really get to hear directly from them. One thing that Senator Jones made mention as he's been speaking on Alligator Alcatraz is what people were chanting. People were chanting "Libertades, Libertades" while they were in the facility.
Wow!
The water. And while I wasn't able to join the senator on the tour, just the stories alone were moving. And just last week, our office received a call from a doctor whose patient was in Alligator Alcatraz. The doctor was reached out to by the wife of the individual who is in the facility, and was told that the individual had not received any of their diabetic medication, and the doctor was afraid of the possibility of this person, just passing out and the health complications that can come from it. So, while we haven't, directly been impacted, our constituents are, and we're out here trying to just advocate for them and ensure that what's going on comes to a stop as soon as possible.
Wow! With Alligator Alcatraz, if you could explain, was that an abandoned prison that was that the state of Florida previously had? No, how did it come into being? Because it seems as though it came online so quickly as this holding detention for those that they were looking to deport. What was the history on that?
That's because, to your point, it was just built. The Governor DeSantis is using $450 million of taxpayer funding.
Whoa!
To construct this entire detention facility. And what's interesting about the $450 million is that he can't go above that, or else he would need state legislature approval.
Wow!
By Senator Jones. So that's what makes this all a little bit harder of a pill to swallow, because while he is acting in his ability, as governor and using the Division of Emergency Management, is that the right way to go about it? Absolutely not.
Wow. And Ron, in Texas, one thing we want the world to hear on this show today is that Kristi Noem, who is the Department of Homeland Security's secretary, has announced that she believes that Alligator Alcatraz is the model for ICE detention centers around the country. And she wants this to be the model. What does that say to you, Ron? Because, as you said, this special session should be taking up these issues, not not trying to redistrict people out of their representation.
Well, I want to say, Barbara, that this is certainly reminiscent of President Trump's puppets. She's doing his bidding, and she's parroting and mimicking his talking points. Every one of his cabinet officials, you talking about, Trump talked about DEI hires, meaning that black and brown people held positions that they weren't qualified for only because of their race or gender. Well, no, his appointees are unqualified and unfit for office, including her. And how dare she make this comment? But it's not surprising, because they're all a part of Trump's MAGA puppets. And so it is very disingenuous. I stand in solidarity with my colleague from Florida. I think that he is on the right side of this issue, and Governor DeSantis and Governor Abbott have been in a chase to see who can be the most MAGA. Governor DeSantis started off with his anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion, quote-unquote, woke agenda, taking away African-American studies. Governor Abbott said, no, you're not going to outdo me. And we passed, we were the first two states to pass anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion in our states, to ban books, to do things like that. So it's no surprise that Governor DeSantis, because they're all auditioning to be the next MAGA, they're trying to get once President Trump, assuming that he leaves office, well, we're going to make sure he leaves, but we know he wants a third term. But Governor DeSantis wants to be next up. Governor Abbott wants to be next up. So they want to basically give the red meat for their base. And the secretary is no different. I mean, they know that Trump, as soon as you say anything that he disagrees with, he will get rid of you. So there's no independent thinking. There is no ability to do what's best for the American people. They have to do whatever President Trump